Welcome to Workplace Psychology with Dr. Martha Greidick. I'm Dr. Martha Greidick. This podcast examines a wide variety of work-related issues through the lens of industrial and organizational psychology. And while many of the topics discussed here may be seen as intended for white-collar employees and their employers, in reality, the ideas presented here are applicable across organizations and industries. Additionally, many of the topics discussed here may be applicable outside of the workplace. I encourage you to examine what's presented here, apply what makes sense to you, and simply discard the rest. Staying motivated can sometimes be challenging, especially when you seem to be extra busy. Maybe it's the holiday season, or maybe it's the end of a year or end of a fiscal year at your organization. Whatever the case may be, when motivation seems to wane, that can make your daily workplace experience that much more difficult. And if this is something that persists over time, it can make things that much more of a challenge coming to work and staying productive. When you are already busy and struggling with a lack of motivation on top of that, that can be a recipe for feeling overwhelmed. What's important to realize is that recognizing this lack of motivation or waning motivation is key here. Once you realize that you don't seem to have the same motivation that you normally do, the next thing to do is to be proactive, to resolve that issue. Waiting for it to get better on its own rarely resolves by itself. Being proactive is key. The first thing that you can do is to start your day in a way that gets you energized. This could be something that you do at home or even during your commute to the workplace, or maybe something that you do once you get to work. It depends on the situation and depends on what it is that you would do to get yourself energized. There are some very simple yet effective things that you can do as a way of getting yourself energized. For some people, it's physical exercise. For others, it may be something like breathing exercises. You might be one of the people where meditation is the way to get you energized in the morning. And while for some that may sound quite the opposite, where meditation might relax you, for some it truly is that burst of energy or that boost of energy that they get from taking some time to meditate. Maybe it's some upbeat music. Maybe you have a favorite playlist that can get you energized. Or it may be plain old coffee that seems to always do the trick for many of you out there. Whatever it is, aim to start your day, whether that is at home or during your commute or once you get to the office, in such a way that gets you energized and gets you off to a good start. It's hard to get yourself motivated when you're dragging, so having the right energy and the right amount of energy is important. Something else to consider is organizing your tasks for the day. It gives you a concrete plan. It gives you something to look forward to in terms of what to accomplish and how to go about it. So having a plan of how and what you're going to tackle during the day may make it a little easier to get motivated. Without a plan, many people can get overwhelmed or almost confused in their approach of what to do next. And when you're struggling with motivation, that can be a lot more detrimental than it might otherwise be. So start your day by having a plan of how you're going to get through that day in terms of your tasks, what you will accomplish and how you will go about it. Remember that the plan is just the foundation. You have to be able to be flexible and change as things change around you. But starting with a plan is important nonetheless. even if you end up changing it before the day is over. Allow yourself enough time to get things done while at work. Sometimes we feel so rushed and we have so many responsibilities that we hardly stop long enough to breathe. But what's important is being realistic with what you can accomplish with your time at the office. If you're honest with yourself and focus on getting things done without wasting time. Now, that's not to say that you don't take breaks. We'll get to that in a moment. But if you are committed to getting things done without wasting time, what is a realistic amount of work that you can get done? This is where you have to consider delegating some things, if that's an option, and asking others for help whenever your list of things to accomplish at work is longer than what you can realistically get done. So remember, allow yourself enough time to get things done, and when you have too many things to do, look to others for help and delegate as appropriate. And that brings me to breaks. Make sure you take breaks throughout the day. You're not a machine, you're not a robot. You have to take breaks. Even though you may be tempted to think that if you don't take breaks, you'll get more done, that's an easy way to tire yourself out, to get yourself burnt out. So make sure that you take breaks throughout the day on a regular basis, every single day, no exceptions. Taking breaks allows you to give a break to your body, your mind, to walk away from the computer screens, give your eyes a break, give your mind a break. So it sounds very simple, but it can be very helpful in terms of recovery from what you're asking your body and your mind to do throughout the day. It's those little breaks that allow you to continue and get through the day without becoming overly fatigued. This last point may be surprising to you. It's important that you have something to look forward to every day, whether that's something at work, work-related, or something outside of work. The idea is to keep it simple. So it could be something as simple as your favorite tasks at work, something to look forward to at work, or maybe your favorite part of your job at work, or it could be something outside of work. Maybe you plan a coffee with a friend, a get-together, or a phone call with a friend, or maybe a walk, or reading one of the books you've been wanting to read for a little bit, or maybe spending time with your children or your pets, or going to the park for a few minutes. Something simple, something little. It doesn't have to be big and complicated and complex. But the key is that it's important for all of us to have something to look forward to. And every day it should be something else, or it could be something else. It's up to you, really. But the idea is that if you have something to look forward to every single day, maybe it's multiple things, then that gives you a different level of dealing with the day, how you handle the day, that allows you to have a boost in your motivation, because maybe getting through the day is what motivates you to get to that thing that you're looking forward to, whatever that thing may be, whether, again, it's work-related or non-work related. But it's important that you find something, ideally different things, that you can look forward to, something, at least one thing throughout every day that will get you that motivational boost to get through the day, something to think about that makes you smile, something that's pleasant, something that you look forward to. So think about adding that to your day. You'd be surprised how helpful that can be in changing that level of motivation, especially when you're struggling with it. As this episode comes to an end, let's review what was discussed. Motivation or lack of motivation can be a challenge, especially when we think about our time at the office, time at work. But there are things that you can do. First and foremost, it's important to recognize when you are struggling with motivation, and then being proactive in the things that you can do to get yourself motivated. Remember to start your day off with something that energizes you. Having the right energy, the energy level for starting your day can give your motivation a boost. Nothing can drag you down quicker than low energy or not having energy. You can't force yourself to be motivated if you don't have much energy to work with. Remember to organize your tasks so you have a plan for the day and give yourself enough time to get those tasks accomplished. Recognize when you have too much to do so that you can ask for help or even delegate some of your tasks as appropriate. Remember to take breaks throughout the day and consider adding something new to your day, having something to look forward to every single day. And that could be something at work, something that's work-related, or something outside of the office. Give that a try. As the week unfolds, I invite you to consider your own motivational levels. Is your motivation where you want it to be, or did it start to wane? Or does it periodically wane around certain times of the year or around certain events? If so, it's important to realize that, to recognize that, and to implement some proactive steps to help you get through that period of time and restore your motivation to where you want it to be. So consider how your motivation plays out throughout time, maybe throughout the different parts of the year, and be proactive in what you do to get yourself back on track. For those of you who experience this podcast in an audio-only version, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel where you can see the video version of the podcast. The link for that is in the description below. My YouTube channel, which is Stress Free with Dr. G, also contains videos that focus on stress management, so I invite you to check that out. Thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to this podcast. I look forward to seeing you here again next time. Until then, I wish you joy and well-being.